happy couple.
Not so happy at the moment.
Yeah. How are we all? Good. Talk about the scenes where you guys kind of communicate almost like in a dream kind of sequence. What's it like to do those?
It's not really, I don't know about you, but it's not really anything I've had to do in my career before. Visit the netherworld to have a witch explain what's happening in the real world. They're fun, and as the series progresses, there's a lot more grit to it. You start to uncover more about Katrina and Crane outside of the netherworld, in how and why they met, and their lives together in 17 something, and how that then affects what's happening now with the impending apocalypse.
I'm assuming.
Is there any chance that we'll get to see the origins of Ichabod and Katrina, like how they met, their courtship?
Oh, there's definitely going to be a lot more of that, the backstory. You're also going to get to know why Katrina is trapped in this phase, and the reason why. It's like a twist coming up. And I'm looking forward for people to get to know our history a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which one?
You'll understand the scenes where we meet this netherworld. They'll have more weight to it.
It'll be good to not see
Because not only is it important to see why it's so important for, it's important to know why the relationship, the marriage is such that Ichabod can risk forgetting the apocalypse in order to save his wife. But then, more than that, Katrina's one of the most powerful characters in it. She's a witch. She's the only one on the side of the good who can actually fight these demons properly. So it's fun seeing Katia get stronger.
I'm assuming that eventually the veil will go away and Katrina and Ichabod will be reunited, but how will that balance with the bromance between Abby and Ichabod?
These wild assumptions. Not only about what's happening there, but also assuming that there's something with Abby.
There's something about Abby, yes.
I'm looking forward to those things as much as you are.
I think so much is why I've connected with the show is the humor in it, and I don't know if you're aware that there's a hashtag on Twitter that we call it Sassy Hollow, because Ichabod is so sassy. And how much did that come about in the writing, or just your discovery of the performance and your chemistry with Nicole? Like, where is the humor?
I didn't when I read the pilot. I didn't think
Well, it blew me away, just the quips and the fish out of water kind of thing. It's wonderful.
It's my natural affinity with Roger Moore. But yeah, the writers are acutely aware that they can't write something as audacious as this without supporting it with
It's like it's
something funny.
winking at itself, too.
Exactly. It also allows us to be very serious about the job, netherworld, apocalypse. The characters can be very focused and serious on that, but the show as a whole gets the joke and can give you a little wink at the end of our earnestness.
The Yolanda scene was one of the funniest things on TV last week. So
thank you very much.
It seems like it's it's definitely a difficult show to put in any sort of genre box. So I'm wondering, when you were working on it and when you were telling your family and your friends about it, how did you describe Sleepy Hollow?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It has a bit of everything. So.
I remember talking to my mum when we were shooting the pilot, and she asked what we were doing that day, and I was telling her about a man with no head chasing me around with an axe and explaining the show and the ideas for the season as a whole, and she just was baffled. More Shakespeare or something? Because it's weird, and Katia, I'm sure, would agree, that for such a long time before anyone saw it, any attempts to describe it, I had to finish with but it's really good.
Right.
Because I hadn't worked out how to describe it. Even only 3 months ago when we were in San Diego Comic-Con, I mean, just look back at the tapes of us trying to get people to watch it. But it's really good.
It speaks for itself.
It does.
Thank you very much.
So the original.
It's also a very good way for very slight, unimposing social commentary. Like the stuff in the episode a few weeks ago about with the donut holes and the fury about tax, which it's quite true that this country was formed because a 2% tax was outrageous, and there are various other, to do with the state of the world and pollution, and just there's lots of stuff that we can do with that, as well as it being very funny. And I think also a bit of a saving grace to the show. Like I said, without the humour, it would probably fall flat on its dick.
Can you talk about can we talk about the special effects versus the practical effects? Because I'm wondering, from an actor's perspective, what do you see on the set when what are you acting against? Some of these apparitions are some of the scariest we've seen on network TV. And also just kind of a follow-up to that question about modern versus the past. How do you feel between takes? Do you still have the same cadence as your method actor? In terms of because you have to have that old world, dialect and just even the way you carry yourself.
There's certainly a different Ichabod that you see in the present and in the past, which is fun to explore, really fun to explore. And it's nice knowing that in the present I'm with Nicole Behari, and in the past I'm with Katia Winter, and our scenes are very, very different. But neither is more full of anything. They're still both brilliant to explore. I'm not method, so I have watched.
What do you see when you're acting against what we see on TV, the post-production of it?
We have an excellent makeup guy called Corey Castellano, who is responsible for the burnt witch that you saw in the first episode, the Sandman, who's brilliant, and all of the monsters that you see coming up are thanks to him. He also brushes my beard. So we're responding to things right there.
That sounds like already practical effects.
Yeah.
Looking at all of the recurring characters, somebody's got to not be what they seem. Somebody's got to be wearing a mask. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you know that somebody's a little duplicitous? And if you don't, who do you think it is?
Would you like to? She knows something even I don't. It's fun second guessing everyone, because even in the pilot you had John Cho's character, who you think is a good guy and then instantly is a bad guy, then dies, and in the next episode he's back. You can't really trust anything.
Yeah, but just because you work for the bad side doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It could be reasons for why you're working with the bad person.
She's defending the
It's like
bad.
Jack Bauer in 24.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth, and you think it's bad, but you're really not working undercover, and then...
Very true.
Very true.
So there could be the gray area.
It's a very gray area.
Describe some of the physicality you've had to, like sword play, and 21st century, even the scene in the bathroom where you're using all the stuff that we all use, but you've had to really have quite a spectrum of things to deal with.
Yeah, they're determined to kill me. That's also part of the fun. It's I think all of us would agree that there are very few jobs like this that give you so much as actors to play around with. So that's just an extra little treat to be able to run around with swords and do some of the pratfalling. Yeah.
sorry, you guys, I have to wrap them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.